Life is good. Life is great. Welcome back to the TNC Podcast, everyone. And it's live. Chris Regal will be getting very used to that phrase soon. He's been swanning off on Sky Sports and whatever else this week, but he's back to his humble beginnings of TNC. Chris, how are you, my man?
Dino.
Don't talk it up. We know what happens when you talk things up. You were screaming Frank Lampard about 4 days ago, and look how that went.
Mate, can I just say to begin with, because people have slagged me off for this, and to be fair, rightly so, I was so in on Frank Lampard. If I'm honest, I think I was maybe sold by the hype around him being who he is. But being realistic, given where we're at, and actually spending a lot of time in the last 24 hours researching and reading and watching a lot of Dean Smith content, I'm all over it like a red rash. I really am. And I've completely changed my opinion. And that's okay, isn't it, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. So that's
very true. Well, we're getting deep early on.
Well, it's true, isn't it? And good evening, by the way, to everyone. 163 of you watching. And can I just say, actually, Jack, before we kick off, by the way, this feels like watch-alongs again.
Yeah.
This feels
glory days.
I'm like getting that energy again. And on that note, if you are going to be here with us for the duration this evening, do us a favor, grab a picture of your screen, wherever you're doing, and do a TNC podcast setup. You remember the old watch-along setups? A TNC podcast setup. I've got access to the TNC Twitter and Instagram account on my phone. All you've got to do is take a picture, upload it to Twitter or Instagram, tag TNC, and I'll share and retweet every single one of them as a thanks for your support.
The king of memes, Callum's in here. A live podcast, yes, please. Good to have you along, Callum. Great to have you all here. Phoebe, welcome. Oakley, hello. Alex says, Dino. Adam, good evening. Chris, shall we go in chronological order here? A lot has happened over this last week, and I think it was summed up perfectly last night. We were texting back and forth as we do through the day, and I was saying, God, I'm so excited about the potential arrival of Dean Smith, and you were like, God, I just can't get excited, not sure. I'm all in on Frank Lampard. I go to the pub, not even for that long, and I get back to a barrage of texts saying, look, I've got this wrong. I'm all in on Dino. So let's go back to about last Monday, Tuesday. And we all thought it was going to be Frank Lampard, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. What I know is that there were talks, and what is up for debate is this whole number one, number two, number three target thing, right? And truth be told, no one really knows that apart from the people involved in the actual negotiations, which is obviously going to be Stuart Webber and the board. Now, obviously on Sky Sports, I feel like I'm name dropping there. On Sky Sports Center, I said, I have just name dropped there, and I'm so sorry. I said that when Frank, I'm not sure if Dean Smith was ever the number one target. I think it's fair to say that he's been changed to the number one target.
Well, he was still in a job when Farke was sacked.
Correct. So I believe, let me know in the comment section what you genuinely think. But here's what I think, Jack. I think Frank Lampard was the number one target. Okay. Then Dean Smith gets the sack, and all of a sudden he gets pushed to the front of the queue. By the way, that's totally okay. I'm up for a bit of that. But I think that's where there's been maybe a bit of miscommunication. Obviously, the rumours have been spiralling out of control. Norwich City social media this week has just been, it's just been absolute chaos. So it's really hard to know who knows their staff, who doesn't, who's just doing copy and paste journalism. It's a challenge to understand the truth. So I'm not surprised that Frank Lampard had all of that media hype around him. What I will say, Jack, is what I've been pretty annoyed at. It's very obvious that Lampard's team have got that story out early doors that, he rejected Norwich. Norwich weren't good enough for him. And I feel really let down by Lampard on that front. And that's why I'm even more in on Dean Smith, because of a multitude of reasons, really. But yeah, just regarding Lampard, I'll hold my hands up. An attractive proposition for Norwich City Football Club. I do think he would have injected the spark, the excitement, the attacking football that we need. I do think he'd get the best out of Billy Gilmore. However, when you listen to what the Villa fans are saying, actually, I think Dean Smith could do that too. He could provide that spark. and he's going to have that hunger in his belly to prove a point. And by the way, guess who's coming to Carrow Road on December the 14th? Aston Villa. So that's going to be fun, isn't it?
Do you think this is all just one long saga to bring Buendia back to Carrow Road?
God, I don't know. I do know that Emi Buendia was actually back in Norfolk seeing some friends this weekend, actually, funnily enough. But I think he's very, very settled in Villa. I don't think there's a hope in hell he's going to come back while Stuart Webber's in charge, given the comments that Stuart Webber said to Emi.
Yes, quite. Anyway, Will says, was gutted at first when I saw Dean Smith. Can't say the same now. Can't forget he smashed us 5-1. Well, why do you think the perception, Chris? Because I saw a lot of this. I was people saying, "Oh, Dean Smith, he's just been sacked from Villa. What a silly appointment." Why do you think the barometer shifted slightly over the last 48 hours? Because it's the same man. You know, he did the same thing, and now everyone seems very happy.
I think the masses have now been presented with more information, including myself. Happy to admit that straight away. I think that there's just so much media buy-in and hype behind Frank that it is, when you weigh them up, you're always going to be biased to Frank because he's literally on Sky Sports News more than Dean Smith. And, you know, because of the fact that Dean Smith has managed Walsall and Brentford before Villa, with all the respect in the world, they're not particularly fashionable football clubs either, if that makes sense. So, and that's with respect to both of those guys. So, yeah, but then, you know, once you peel away the surface of the media hype, you see a man that has that's pushed Brentford up to a whole new level, that did wonders with Walsall, that got promoted from the Championship, that beat Frank Lampard in the playoff final, by the way, which I tweeted a picture of the other day, which I found quite satisfying.
Yeah.
And I know there's that whole debate around, Dean Smith kept them up last time because of a VAR decision, etc., etc. But I don't know, mate. What I've heard from Villa fans, on the whole, I'd say 95% of the stuff I've read from Villa fans has been very positive. And actually, they're saying, I'm actually gutted that Dino's not here anymore, because the guy's got an absolutely massive heart. He's Villa through and through, and they were of the faith that he would progress them. So
good. Yeah, I think Stuart Webber often talks, doesn't he? Maybe more so with players, but he's recruiting people. Off the kind of the normal, whether it's a player in terms of passing and shooting, he's trying to find the all-round person. I think the interesting thing with Dean Smith is every club he's been at, it's been a project. And he's always said his aim is to leave the football club in a better position than when he found it. And he's done that at Walsall, he's done that at Brentford, and he's done that at Aston Villa. And you're right in saying, Chris, you speak to any Aston Villa fan, despite the recent run of form, and often recency bias is very strong in football, they're still gutted that he's gone. This is a man who doesn't mind taking on a project. And I tweeted this in the week. We have to be aware as Norwich fans, we're 5 points adrift with next to no budget in a division that we're up against every week. That's an incredibly difficult project to take on. And we are going to be operating in a very kind of small pool of managers. So to get Dean Smith, who is an incredibly highly regarded person, I think it's a bit of a coup. I was looking at Michael Calvin's tweets the other day, who's the author of some wonderful football books, and he said that Dean Smith's one of the most well-rounded, well-read people that he's ever spoke to in his football books, and he spoke to some incredibly highly regarded people. So look, it's not the razzmatazz of a Frank Lampard, and I think it's right to say that Lampard would have brought something to the football club. And if he was to become Norwich manager, I would have got behind him and I would have been happy. But I think Dean Smith is an upgrade on Lampard and an upgrade on Daniel Farke as well.
Definitely an upgrade on Daniel Farke. There's been a big debate about that, and I am just so not in the room on, people saying Daniel Farke is better than Dean Smith. I don't agree with that for reasons that we'll perhaps get into in a minute. But before I do, just want to say a big up and special thanks to Jamie Bauman, who's put in a £5 super chat.
Thank you, Jamie.
We really don't need to do that, by the way, to make that clear, but always appreciated. He says, do you think Smith will play Zolis, Gilmore, Cantwell? And this is one of the reasons why, Jack, people might really buy into Dean Smith really early doors, because if all of a sudden he brings Todd Cantwell back from the under-23s and shows people Farke was ridiculous for that decision, if he plays Gilmore and gets the tune out of him, starts Zolis, let's be honest, like I know that fans want to see all the new signings straight away, and I fall victim to that all the time. I understand, balance and, warming them up and not ready and this and that. Sod it. Get them all in, because it's not worked without these boys, is it? And I just think that Dean Smith has got a great opportunity to win over the Norwich fans straight away. By the way, should he be the Norwich manager?
Yes,
I think he's able to do it. And but Jack, on this point, to Jamie's super chat, do you think that he will play those three players?
Well, I'm not sure about the specifics of them players, but the pleasing thing is with Dean Smith is you look across his managerial career so far, and he's played either a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-2-1, which is the formation best suited to the players we have. And you would say that if he were to play them formations, then Cantwell certainly has a good chance. I suspect Billy Gilmore will get back in there. Not so sure on Christos Jolis. He's probably slightly more of an unknown to Dean Smith, but I think that's another positive of Dean Smith. I wasn't ever sure what Frank Lampard's style of football was. Having watched him at Derby and Chelsea, I could never quite work out what he was trying. And I think with Dean Smith, there's always been a style and a clear plan. And I like that. And I like that he plays a similar style to the players that we have suited.
This is a great point from Chef Daniel over on YouTube. £5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, by the way, mate. He says Dean will come here with many points to prove and a hunger to prove the naysayers wrong. And do you know what, Chef Daniel? That is seriously getting me going. Seriously getting me going. You know what? If Dean Smith turns us into a passion house just of glory, of do or die, I'm all over it like a red rash.
Well, that was your main selling point for Lampard, wasn't it? Do you see the same with Dean Smith?
No, do you know what? I got it wrong. I think Dean Smith is more. I think he's more of a passion merchant than Frank Lampard, and I love it. I'm absolutely all over it, mate. I really am. I think. Truth be told, if you want my really honest opinion, I think Frank Lampard is an absolute wimp because
you have changed so much in the past 4 days,
and that's okay. No, I'm angry with Lamps. He's let me down, yeah, and now I'm gonna say my piece on him, mate. Frank Lampard.
I'm going to be saying that Lucas Roop should be starting in a moment.
Oh, that's you, not me. That's you, not me. I think Lampard had an opportunity to prove that he can pull something off magical, and to be honest with you, Dean Smith has now been given that. And the great thing is, and I said this when we were talking about Lampard, the whole world assumes that Norwich City are going to go down. All of the pundits, the majority, not that we care about any other fans, right? Everyone's saying Norwich are going down. So therefore, there's no expectation. But imagine pulling off one of the biggest Premier League survivals of all time, and it's your first kind of half a season in charge. All of a sudden, you get the keys to the city. You're an icon. I mean, I'm calling for you to have a statue outside the club. I genuinely think that we need to put more respect on Dino's name, including myself. And I spoke to a good man about this, Mr. Greengrass. And I'll tell you one thing for free, Jack, and I have this on good authority. Dean Smith has got the biggest chopper in the Premier League because he has just been sacked. No, he has, because he's just been sacked.
Chopper.
Mate, he has. Find me someone with a bigger chopper than Dean Smith right now in the Premier League. I'm telling you now, right? The man has just been sacked from his boyhood club, then goes to New York to see his son, right? Decides to finish his trip early to see his son, to come back and take the Norwich job when everyone's written us off. We're destined for relegation, yeah? Everything is against him. And he's gone, bosh, I'm Big Dino. And do you know what? I'm going to prove a point. And for that, Dean Smith, I love that from you.
There we go. You've got the Chris Reeve sign of approval. Matt Bradshaw, Dean Smith's a mature cheddar. Lampard a stinking, dirty blue Stilton. I like a blue I like a Stilton, Matt, but a mature cheddar is more versatile. It must be said, and I think
Where's Cheesy when we need him?
Yeah, I think that plays into a bigger point, Matt. And I think I would say that if we were to go down, if it were to happen, I'd feel more confident in Dean Smith's ability to get us back to the Premier League than I were if it were Frank Lampard. I was never sure if Frankie Lamps was here for the long run.
But Jack, I need to interject here, right? This is why I was initially a bit anti Dean Smith, because I was like, I feel like it's almost too sensible because they've almost thought about the Championship. And I was just like, sod medium and long term. We need immediate term. But I think realistically, it is the right choice to go for someone thinking about the Championship too. Obviously, that's why I'm a fan and not the sporting director.
Callum says, Chris, how much Lakens have you had? Well, I can't see any Lakens.
Mate, Chris. Do you know what, Lakens, if you're listening, can you send me a new box, please? Because I've run out. I genuinely don't have.
I've got some in my garage for you, but Lakens, 20% off in the description. You can get some of your own. What does Dean Smith? He's got a week now. If he were to be announced today or tomorrow, you've got a week before a big game, Southampton at home. Yeah. And the fascinating thing is it was Southampton that got Dean Smith sacked from Aston Villa. So he will have played Southampton twice in succession. He goes into Colney. He looks at the setup. What's the first thing he does?
Well, what's he going to do with the soccer bot, Jack?
He gets his chopper out in the soccer bot.
Mate, I don't know what he's going to do first when he gets to Colney. I think, having listened to a lot of Dean Smith conversations around culture in the last 24 hours, I suspect he will be having a lot of conversations.
You don't get out much, do you?
And be doing lots of... Well, mate, I do try and do research. I think he'll be having lots of conversations. I think he'll be watching to begin with. I've seen that on the video. He likes to observe and just kind of see what players know and what they don't know. I think he'll be bringing Toddy back into the mix straight away. I think he'll be giving starts to players that haven't started so far this season. I think he'll come to press conferences with energy, with motivation. I think he'll be very, very honest about what he can and can't achieve. I think that's what he'll do. As I've said already, mate, I think I couldn't think of a better team to play next than Southampton, right? And that might get clipped up by the 2 Southampton fans that watch this channel / in general. But quite frankly, mate, I think it's brilliant because he's just been really hurt by Southampton and he studied them, right? And Dean Smith now is going to be walking into Colney bleeding still from that Southampton game. And I tell you what, mate, a bleeding warrior comes back harder than ever before. And and that really gets me going. No, seriously, I think Dean Smith is. I think the new manager bounce is on big time.
I think it's more than a bounce. I think it's a whopper. The new manager whopper. I've got a story about the soccer bot, Chris. By the way.
Oh, go on.
We were obviously chatting about it on the podcast the other week, and I was at Parkrun on yesterday morning. Down at Galston. I finished. I was puffing. I was, really struggling. And I got to the end, and someone came up to me, and I didn't know who they were. And they said, "Hello, Jack. I won't say their name. Hello, Jack. I need a word." I thought, "What? I need a word? Like, what have I done?" And he said, "Really enjoyed the podcast. Didn't appreciate your comments on the soccer bot." And he was a contractor who built the soccer bot. I said, "Look, I'm so sorry. It was all Chris. I love the soccer bot." And I gave him your address and your phone number. And I said, "Go and find him."
Mate, go watch that. And go watch that clip back. Yeah. Go watch that podcast back. I love the soccer bot. I just found it funny that we were so shite with it. Like we had regressed with it. And it's just very unfortunate that this exceptional technology will have been laughed at, which is a shame because I think it's blooming awesome. I really do.
But thanks to that chat. I very much enjoyed meeting you. He was a very pleasant person, but we had a good laugh. Thomas, here we go.
Go on.
Good to see you. It's going to be Super Roy Hodgson. I mean, you may have seen my tweet.
Yeah, did Jack?
That Roy Hodgson and Delia Smith met in a London restaurant on the Friday before the Brentford game. Now, they're good friends, so I don't think it was ever a will you be the next manager thing. I suspect it was more of a friendly meal, catch up before a London game, tuck into some nice grub and advise me on what to do next. But I tell you what wouldn't be the worst thing if Roy came in some kind of like advisory role. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
Oh, yes. Expensive, but good.
Yeah. It's like when you... Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, man, it's the new golden triangle, isn't it? You've got Dino, yeah. You've got old Shakespeare, former Premier League winner under Ranieri, by the way.
Hello.
And then on the other side, you've got Roy. I mean, I'm absolutely all over that.
Super Roy. Yeah. You pay for quality, and Roy Hodgson certainly. That's Simon Dane, Norfolk's best farmer. Hello, Simon. I think this is a bit of a negative comment. Let's see. I'm not impressed how the club has handled this since Daniel Farke's sacking. But if you take a step back, Dean Smith has the potential to be a good fit if he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. How do you think it's been handled, Chris? Because I guess from a solely media perspective, it feels like it's a little bit chaotic. We sacked Daniel. Lampard's turned us down. When I suspect, in actual fact, Lampard was never offered the job, and Webber's just been going about things very calmly. And it's only been a week since Brentford. I mean, that's hard to forget. Do you think it's been chaotic, or is this all part of the plan?
Well, I also agree, Jack, that I don't think Lampard was offered the job either. I think what we've probably learned as a fan base, in my opinion anyway, from this sort of manager merry-go-round, if you will, and the saga of losing Daniel Farke, is that it's all not a bed of roses behind the scenes at Norwich City Football Club. And actually, even if Stuart's got a list, you've still got to convert that list fast. And I know these things take time, and obviously the appropriate due diligence, which, by the way, the fans have rightly criticised the football club for not doing very, very recently. So I'm pleased that they've taken their time. I have heard through the sources that I speak to that there were things fed to certain outlets to try to A, throw them off the scent, and B, buy them time. But that's not gospel. That's just what I have been told and what I am prepared to share. I don't think it's been a shambles. What I would say is I think it's been, I guess what's important to say here is that there's never a good time to sack a manager ever. And, you know, the people that have, you know, watched Norwich City for as long as me, I know we've got a lot of younger supporters watching us. Well, to be fair, all sorts of supporters watching us, Jack, but a lot of people remember how Gunny was sacked, which was actually utterly disgraceful. And Daniel Farke's sacking was actually probably a whole lot more respectful than that. So I know you shouldn't compare, but I also think it's the right thing to say is there's never a good time. There's never a good time. And there's always an excuse of putting it off or changing it. But we'll never know. I thought Michael Bailey's article in The Athletic was fantastic, outlining how and when things happened in which rooms. Amazing journalist, by the way, Michael Bailey, by far the best that we've got. And look, I personally don't think it's been mishandled. I just think, unfortunately, because we're dealing with Frank Lampard, there's just been such a media circus around this, but that's to be expected. And I've been thinking about this, Jack. A lot of Norwich fans have said, the reason why I don't want Frank is I don't want us to become Frank Lampard's Talk Norwich City. Frank Lampard, we almost rebranded. I don't want us to become Frank Lampard's Norwich City. I don't want this club to become a media circus. I don't want us to be that. But to be honest with you, if you look at where the Premier League's going now, that is what the modern game is. Like the media hype, the conversations, the characters and personalities that are built, and the people that are behind these personalities. And I know a lot of people are resistant to that, and I am too. It's not soulful. And I think football is becoming soulless as time goes on. But personally, I think that we have to come to accept that to develop and grow as a football club, And actually, I find it extremely complimentary that we were in talks with Frank Lampard. Yeah, he might not be the right man, but even that is quite a healthy conversation for the world of football to look and say, oh, hang on a minute, Norwich City talking to Frank Lampard. And I think that's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Well, I think from a very shallow and possibly selfish point of view, I think Frank Lampard would have been incredible for not only the club and the worldwide kind of audience that would have been brought to the attention of Norwich City, but for like channels like us as well. Our views have gone up. The media appearances. You mentioned Frank Lampard, and suddenly everyone cares desperately. Now that's a comment that will get you going, Chris, from Spoon Meat. Can't wait to see him reinvigorated PP driving at defences. Puemaswa Poeta. Hello, PP.
I didn't read that. I didn't read that username until you read it there, Jack, and it's almost thrown me off. Hello, Mr. Spoon Meat. I think, look, if the new gaffer gets PP going, he's the Messiah.
No, quite.
PP, no, and I don't mean that. And what I want to say is, I don't mean this is like a dig at PP. I mean, let's be honest, PP just hasn't managed to break in yet. He's not had a good season. He's been battling COVID, by the way, obviously. And so that will have a massive impact on him. And therefore, I do mean it by when I say, if the new gaffer comes in and gets PP contributing to this team, that's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I think it'd be great to see. Thanks, Spoonmeat, for the £5 super chat anyway. Hugely appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. From one positive comment to another, Thomas, once again, thank you, Thomas, with the Norwegian kroner. The only gutting thing about this most recent week, I would have loved Knutsen. As I said on the last podcast, I love the Norwegians. That little combo with Matthias Norman, maybe bringing Alex Tete back in an advisory role. Hello.
Mate, I love Thomas, and thank you, I love Thomas, and I might offend him here, right? But it's just so hipster. It's just everyone is saying
what, Norway as a country is hipster, is it?
Arguably, I just think. Look, I would be happy with Knutsen if we were still in the Championship and we wanted to build this long-term project. But what I'm saying now is, come on. We've got this opportunity. We're in the Premier League now. We need spark now. And Knutsen, I don't think would give us that spark now. He would still have to do a whole lot of learning. And that's why I'm buzzing about Dino, mate, because he's got the cuts and bruises from the Premier League. He understands the teams he's coming up against. He knows what he needs to do to get this Norwich City team going. So I personally think Knutsen is just a bit of a hipster shout just because people want an unknown name.
Well, that's exactly why I wanted him. And I also wanted a pre-season in Oslo and Stavanger. Anyway, Thomas says, personally, I think Dino will be the number one choice from the moment he was available. He'll work wonders at Carrow Road and is the best shot we have at survival and promotion if we go that route. Thomas loving the look of Dean Smith. Harvesto game. Spoon Meat is on it. Recall Hernandez, get Sorensen and PP firing, and we will survive. I mean, there's an option for a Hernandez recall in January, I suspect, Chris.
Yeah, I'm smiling because I had a long conversation, 20-minute conversation with him a couple of days ago. No, not Spoon Meat, an Alan. He was on the train to London, and we were talking about Daniel Farke leaving and what that means and how he's feeling. And I can't share lots, but what I would say is that, just to reiterate again, that Onel absolutely loves this football club and would love the opportunity to come back. He would love the opportunity to come back and play under a new gaffer. And I know that Onel is, it's fair to say, and he would agree, he's upset that he was pushed out on loan. Daniel Farke was the man that pushed him out on loan. That wasn't a decision that was kind of forced by anyone else. So I'm completely biased though to Onel, right? So people have to take my comments with a pinch of salt. But for me, I look at PP and I look at Onel and I think I would rather Onel for the heart, for the character, for the passion, for the fight, for the record. He scored against Manchester United in the Premier League last time.
Well, I think my word on this, not comparing Onel to PP, is I would say, and I'm not saying this is a sustainable model to take, but Onel Hernandez would have been a more effective option so far than Josh Sargent, because Josh is being played out on the wing now. So look, I think Josh will come good eventually, but I think having seen what I've seen so far, Onel would have had more of an impact than Josh has.
Can I just a quick interlude? Just forgive me for being selfish and indulging in this, but I just want to say thank you so much, because people know about the shit that I got for the Daniel Farke stuff, and Jack, to be fair. But I also got a whole load of shit for going on Sky today. And I just want to say I've actually listened to all of the positive comments, a whole lot more. And I'm genuinely so bloody grateful to everyone that takes the time to say nice things, because we just do it because we love it. And it really means a lot. So thank you for everyone that's enjoyed the stuff this week. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Who's better, Chris? Me or Hayley McQueen?
Mate, well, it depends. I mean, I don't think Hayley's taken me to Yarmouth anytime, is she?
It's a great date location. She could take you on the Ferris wheel. Duncan Drake, do you guys think it's sus that Dino and Dan got sacked on the same weekend? No, I don't think so. You've probably spoken to more Villa fans this week than I have, Chris, but I think isn't the kind of thought there is that hang on, what am I trying to say? They would have known that Gerrard wanted to come to Villa, hence why Smith got kind of budged out, or is that just complete nonsense?
I'm nowhere near that at all.
No, I don't think it's suspect at all. I think they were just two managers struggling in the Premier League, and it came to I think the reason there's been a lot of managerial sackings recently is due to the international breaks, and it's a good time to sack managers. Yeah.
Big up, by the way, to Adam. He's clearly got his head screwed on. He says, I have to admit, I wanted KK for hipster reasons, Chris.
I'm with you, Adam. I'm with you.
There you go. Jack, how are you feeling about, how are you genuinely feeling about Dino coming? Are you in the slightest bit nervous at all? Or do you think, actually, do you know what? Blank canvas, new start, fresh energy. I'm all in and I'm buzzing for it. Or are you worried just even a little bit? Because from your tweets, you're saying all the right things, but deep down, like, do you actually do you mean them?
Well, I think it would be difficult to be worried because it can't get any worse, and that's said in the nicest possible way. If Dean Smith were to manage 50 Premier League games, I think you'd get fairly long odds on him having a worse record in the Premier League than Daniel Farke. Daniel Farke was operating at a 10% win ratio. That's not sustainable. And he, thanks, Robin.
Cheers,
well,
Robin.
I don't know why I'm thanking you. He hasn't complimented me. So I don't think it can get worse. I think Farke went at the right time. And as I've said time and time again, from the options we had, I think Dean Smith's definitely one of the best options we could choose from. I liked what he's done at all the clubs he's been at. I like the style of football he plays. I like that he cares, and he cares deeply about the project he's in. And I see, and I think the other interesting thing that we haven't mentioned yet, as I'm being covered by Ben, is that Stuart Webber tried to get Dean Smith when he was at Huddersfield. So this is a long-term kind of love affair between Dino and Big Stu. So happy days.
You always find those right words, don't you? Ben Huntley on YouTube, really starting to get excited.
Oh, I love that, Ben. I love that.
Oh, God, I love that.
Get excited, Ben.
Left all his clubs in better states. Good Prem and Champ experience. Wanted Todd, and this is why I brought this comment up on screen. Ben says, wanted Todd and Milo at Villa.
Oh, interesting.
I've been told this by many people, Villa fans, by the way, not just Norwich City glasses, that Todd and Milo were wanted by Villa, both under Dean Smith. So
wow,
that really gets me going, because these are two players that Daniel Farke hasn't utilised / seriously disrespected. So
interesting.
I'm very, very excited for that. I think it's a great point, Ben. Great comment, and thanks for joining us, Jack. Just a quick interlude. I just want to say, as we are probably halfway through, we are resharing and retweeting everyone tonight as a thanks for your support. All you need to do is take a picture of your screen and share your TNC podcast live setup, and I will retweet all of them as a thanks for your support. I'm going through them right now.
Excellent. Charlie. Now, I don't know if Charlie's got in the know, but he's confident that Smith will be announced at 7:00 tonight. Ooh. Love the podcast board. Big up GY. Love every bit of that comment, Charlie. For those not tied into Twitter 24/7, it is worth noting that Dean Smith isn't yet officially the Norwich City head coach. So although we've been speaking as he is, and Michael Bailey's reported it, and he's usually spot on, but he isn't officially announced yet.
Someone has just posted a picture. Matt Morris.
What a name.
Dean Smith and his massive chopper. God, missing Zombie Nation. God, I'm getting watched on again.
Chopper out. Alan Montgomery. Can always be worse, Jack. Could be 20th in the championship. Yes, Alan, that is a very pessimistic way of looking at things, but I appreciate it could be worse.
No, I think it's very optimistic. I think there's a tremendous sense of perspective in there. It could be 9th in League One, for God's sake. I mean, Alan, you know what? Jack might disagree with you, but I agree with you. Top boy, love that.
No, Simon. Hello, Simon. I was hoping for Mark Robbins. Do you think he was ever considered, or not Webber's kind of guy? Yeah, I think Mark Robbins was in the Russell Martin camp of just not quite ready yet. I mean, he hasn't managed above the Championship, I think I'm right in saying. And granted, Knutson, who I think was on the shortlist, hasn't either. But I think the shortlist would have been managers with Premier League experience, or at least top flight experience. So I don't think Mark Robbins was ever going to be on that list.
Breaking news: watch along legend.
Cheesy. Where is he there? That looks like a delightful little meal out.
I don't know, but he's probably in Mallorca. He's there.
He's got his best shirt on, hasn't he? Scrubs up well, Cheesy.
Yeah. He's there every other week. He is the old father-in-law. He says, recall Hugill in January.
Hello.
Also, boys now have something to prove. I agree, John. I agree. I think we will see so much more out of these players now. And by the way, I'm pleased because people will realise just how not turned off is the wrong phrase, but how sort of downbeat they clearly weren't believing in
Farke. Well, you get complacent, don't you?
100%. And so I think that's a great point regarding the players being fired up. But Jack, what's your response to Jordan Hugill bringing him back in January? Any interest in that?
Well, I think we need a striker in January. Now, whether we've got the
we're not going to spend on a striker in January, are we? Well,
I don't know.
You think there's a chance we will?
Well, I hope so. I think we need one.
Okay.
I think we need another option, and I'm not overly sure that Jordan Hugill's Premier League's quality. I think again, like I said about Onel, I think he would have provided more than Josh Sargent. I don't think under Smith we're going to be playing that long kind of ball that Jordan likes. No, I wouldn't be bringing him back, but I would be looking to spend sizable sums of money in January on a striker.
Tell you what I would be, Jack, and that's getting excited about Declan Cotter's comment on YouTube. He's chucked a £2 super chat into the mix. Thank you so much. So great.
Hello, Declan.
He says, which 3 teams will get relegated when we survive? Yes, Declan. You know what, Declan? You know, sod Craig Shakespeare. I want you as the number 2. I want you in there with Dino, the big man.
Big Deck.
So Deck's in the house, JR, and he reckons that we're going to survive. So who's going to go down when we survive?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Brentford go down. I cannot stand the media hype around them at the moment. And they were torn to bits by an out of form Norwich side.
Valid, by the way.
I think Newcastle might just have enough. I don't think Burnley have got too much going forwards, but they always seem to get through it. I think Watford will get dragged into it. They probably already are. I thought Leeds were garbage when we played them, and we still lost. So that summed up that kind of spell. I don't know. I think it's a really strong division this season, actually. But I'd say it will be us in the mix. Us, Brentford, Watford, Burnley, Leeds, and Newcastle.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you've not mentioned Newcastle at all.
Yeah, I think they've got spending power in January that might just see them through. I think they'll be in the mix though, for sure.
Even though it might take some time for those players to gel, Jack.
Yeah, I think they're definitely in the mix. I mean, they're on the same points as us, which is crazy.
Robin, Robin from Oz is in the house, and he says, "Will you do a chat with Dan from Villavie?" Yes, we're trying to. In fact, I think he messaged me. I am going to try and get Dan on. We're just trying to find a time.
He's very expensive.
Dan's a big hitter now, you see. So yeah, but we'll be getting him on. Absolute legend of the game. Look at this here.
Them watch-alongs, Chris.
I'm buzzing.
You put a tweet out the other day, didn't you? Like, send us your best ever TNC memories. And them watch-alongs were just genuinely so good, weren't they? I just love doing them.
I sometimes think back and I think, A, what the hell were we doing?
Yes.
And B, I'm a bit ashamed of the amount of beer that I consumed. and 3, I think, how the bloody hell did we do that for that long?
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
What, the 24-hour one?
Well, the whole thing, really.
Yeah. I was going back through some WhatsApps of the day with our contact at Lakens, and they were like the same message being sent every sort of 3 days. It was like, "Hi Amy, can you send us another box?" Or "Hi Amy, we broke the website."
Big up to Pink and Morph, and I've seen this person, obviously anonymous. I've seen this person on Twitter as well, and I really like this message, and I really want to hammer this home in this episode of the TNC podcast. They say, would be nice to think all the fans are going to give Dean Smith a chance if he gets the job, even if they don't think he was the man for the job. Pink and Morph, I agree with that. I don't think we're going to have that problem, Jack. And I'm quite interested to hear your thoughts on this. I think that, I'm so excited to get to Carrow next Saturday, mate. I am bloody buzzing for it. I'm buzzing for it. I'm tempted. The old Daniel Farke, hairy chest OTBC slogan. I'm tempted to do that myself. I really am, because I'm that fired up. I'm Dino. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. Anyway, away from that ramble, Pink and Morph's got a great point. And I'm sure no one's thinking this, but let's really get behind Dino. Let's raise the roof at Carrow. Let's give him the biggest Carrow Road welcome of all time for any manager in their history, because he needs our full 100% backing. And I'm excited for that. I really am. I think the atmosphere is going to be buzzing. I don't think there will be any hostility towards him, even if he's not your favourite, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same team. We all support our club. I know that Norwich City social media has been chaotic, to say the least, and pretty hateful and spiteful in the last week. But I do think when that line is drawn and that page is turned, I think everyone will back Dean to the death. What do you think, Jack?
Well, I'm really looking forward to when we beat Southampton on Saturday to see what Dean Smith's Farke wave equivalent will be. And I think we should start taking suggestions from the comments tonight. What do you think Dean Smith's gesture will be when we start winning football matches? I'm hoping it's an incredibly passionate run mixed in with a fist pump kind of combo that almost gets aggressive. I want to see aggression. I want to see fear in the fans' eyes, and I want to be scared. That's the feeling I want. And Tom, thank you, Tom. I think the job you both do is brilliant. Well, I think you're brilliant, Tom, I must say. So thank you for getting involved this evening. What would you like to see, Chris? I know we spoke about it last time, but we were suggesting it was going to be Frank Lampard. Picture the scene. Saturday, 1/4 to 5. Norwich City 3, Southampton 0. We've had a few little looseners. And you're staring Dean Smith down as he hurtles towards the Barclay. What does he do?
I do think he is going to really go for it because I think he is being massively disrespected. And I think that he is going to really, really burst with passion at the final whistle. And I could see him. I don't think he's going around all four corners. He knows where the noise is. He's going straight to the Barclay in the snake pit. And I don't think he'll run and punch. I think he'll start off with a clap, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Jack, he's just going to go like that absolute chaos. Like,
oh really?
He rips off his jacket, chucks it into the crowd. He might even like take his tie off and throw it in, and be like, and then he's going to give it the badge pant afterwards, like the full-on badge pant. But to begin with, he's just going to absolutely lose his head, and I can't wait to see it. And we will see it come next Saturday.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I like that. I hope he reveals. He slowly rips his jacket off and below reveals a shirt that says, "I love this game," and stands arms aloft like this.
Yeah, I really would. Yeah.
As the Barclay screams, Dino. You
know that's going to happen, don't you? Dino. Like really aggressive, punchy Dinos. I'm all about that. I really, really
I love a punchy Dino, I must say.
Mr. E's chucked in £1.79.
Cheers, Mr. E.
Thank you very much for your £1.79. Really appreciate that, Mr. E. I'd love to see Leeds, Villa and Newcastle go down. Jack, thoughts?
Fully behind that. We've got some suggestions. Brighton, interesting. We've got some suggestions for Dean Smith celebrations. This is a good one from Kieran, thrusting his crotch in the direction of the snake pit. Tom says he'd like to see Dino knee slide in front of the Barclay with his chopper out. What else have we got? I love the fact that we're so cheery while being 5 points adrift in the Premier League.
Do you know what, Jack? Right, you know what Dean Smith reminds me of, right? When you walk into a pub, and there's always that guy standing on his own with one arm on the bar.
That's me.
He's already, I know. He's already got a pint of Guinness. Yeah. And he's just staring at you as you walk in. Yeah. And you look at him and you think, oh shit, I shouldn't have looked at him. He's like the hardcore local. And he's the kind of guy that, you don't want to come across, you don't want to mess with. And therefore, when it comes to that final whistle on Saturday, I just think that fighter, that belief, that passion is just going to be bursting out of him. I cannot wait to see it. It's going to really get me going, actually.
I've got another theory. Maybe it won't be Dean Smith that goes full in. Maybe we see a bit of spice from Craigie Shakespeare at the end.
Yeah. The old hashtag Shakespeare spice.
I like the thought of that.
I tell you what we will see, by the way, and I would put my life's earnings on this, right? When we win on Saturday, Tim Krul is going to go absolutely ape shit towards the Barclay. He is going to go berserk, and I'm all for it. I think we're going to see some serious player passion on Saturday, and I'm buzzing for it. I really am.
One final celebration suggestion comes in from Cameron. The scenes when he knee slides in front of the Barclay while doing the Dennis Shrubeni salute. Just simple.
I can't see him doing a salute. I don't think it's a salute kind of. He's not got the style that Shrubeni had, in my opinion. But there you go. Interesting comment from Tom, and we haven't spoken about this before, Jack. Do you think who's Dean Smith's captain? Do we care?
I think the captain's role should be a fluid one. I think we've got a few leaders. Let me finish. I think Tim Krul is an effective leader from the back. I like what Grant Hanley does, but I don't think he gets in the side every week. I like what Matthias Norman brings to the side. I like how Pookie leads the line. So I think Hanley will remain captain, but what I'm saying is there is a lot of candidates for that potential captain's armband in this side.
What does fluid mean? What does a fluid captain mean?
Well, it means that you've got a lot of leaders.
Oh, yeah, but you pick your captain. You keep your captain. Your captain plays every week, mate. 100%. And by the way, Gibbo had the captaincy last.
Yeah, but does Ben Gibson get in the side every week?
Well, we'll see, won't we?
You know what I'd do to spice things up a bit?
Go on.
Chuck it towards Big Andy.
Do you know what I tell you what.
And say, here, Andy, have some of this, mate.
People won't like this, right? Because he's a lone player. But I would love to see Matthias Norman.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then to be honest with you, I'm not even sure the captain's armband will remain on his arm by the end of the match. Because I could just see him, when he scores, celebrating, ripping it off and just throwing it into the stand through sheer anger at the lack of results that we've had so far this season. I want that passion. I think Matthias Norman would be a good captain. I love Ben Gibson. I think Ben Gibson would be a fantastic captain. I do think it's a bit early for Big Andy, but he's certainly got the credentials to be a future captain for sure. And also Grant Hanley. We might now see a rejuvenated Grant Hanley under Dean Smith. Who knows? There will be some winners and losers in terms of our squad under Dean Smith, and it will be very interesting. I mean, we've already highlighted that Rashica and Todd Cantwell are more than likely going to be at least in the squad. So therefore, 2 players are going to have to drop out of that team straight away. So the team on Saturday is going to be really exciting to see. Really.
Well, come on, let's talk about the team for Saturday then. And please do feel free to get all of your starting 11s in the comments.
Mate, we've not even signed him as a manager yet.
Well, according to a few of the commenters, in 9 minutes, we might have an announcement.
Oh, okay. We'll hang out here for 9 minutes then, just in case.
Yeah, so get your comments in regards to the starting 11 on Saturday. First of all, are we going to be 4 at the back under Big Dino, or will it be 5?
I think that Dino will play his tried and trusted 4-3-3.
Okay.
I think that's what he'll do.
So that is a defence of Max Aarons.
Yes.
Big Andy.
Yes. And Ben Gibson.
Ben Gibson with... Oh, now left back's interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I could see Dino giving it to Brandon, but that's me just going purely off passion.
And I guess will Dino be willing to throw Big Andy straight into the mix? Or will he go for a more experienced pairing?
No, I do think he trusts a lot of the younger players. We've seen that at Aston Villa and at Brentford, Jack. He's a huge advocate for the younger players. I think that's why I'm actually very excited about Dino coming in, because I've heard a lot of good things around his coaching with the younger players. Obviously, everyone knows what Dean Smith turned Jack Grealish into in his time at Aston Villa. So, yeah, look, I don't think he'll have any problem starting Big Andy if he feels it's appropriate. I certainly think it's appropriate because I think the man's absolutely unstoppable at the moment. Absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, I think he's been great. Matt Gregory. So he'd go for Tim Krul, Max Aarons, Dimmy, Big Andy and Gibson, Norman, PLM and Gilmore. Interesting. Rashica, Cantwell, Pookie. So he's playing Gilmore in the 10 by the looks of things. Interesting. Probably not what I'd go for, but I like the style. I like what you're thinking there.
You know what though, Jack, right? And I know this is a very cheap throwaway comment, but this is just my gut talking. Even if Dean Smith played the exact same team that started against Brentford, I think he'd get a better tune out of them. I think he'd motivate them better. I think he'll do much better in terms of his in-game management. So for me, I'm actually of the emotion and of the faith that the team news come Saturday is exciting no matter what it is, even if it is the same team news. I really am. I think that we're gonna. By the way, I can't believe we're talking about this. I almost feel like Dean's the manager already. For God's sake, I've already given Lampard the kiss of death. I feel a bit bad talking about Dino as if he's the gaffer already. But there you go. This is a really interesting comment, and I've seen a couple of people say this. Obviously, the old big cow in the house, as always, the Norwich City meme king. For those of you who don't know, do drop him a follow. By the way, posted by Callum on Twitter. He says, "Who are we getting from Villa in January?" Jack, thoughts?
Buendia. I like the look of him.
Could you imagine? Well, he
cheeky little loan deal.
He played Buendia though, did he? Didn't really get
Villa. Who would we sign from Villa?
Oh, here we go. This is an interesting shout. James T.
El Ghazi. Yeah.
Any interest?
I can't. I'd have to look at the Aston Villa starting 11. I don't even know who plays them.
Who are we robbing from Villa? And
Aston Villa starting 11. Jed Steer.
Bring him home.
Ashley Young. I'll tell you a player I've always liked, and he's not going to come here, but I love John McGinn. Oh, love him.
Yeah, but he's Villa. He's Villa, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a Villa man. I've always respected him. I wouldn't say I would want him to play for Norwich, that's for sure. Who's that geezer that always scores against us? That got a loan deal to Swansea last time we're in the Championship. That's for Villa. Come on,
Swansea,
Irish guy. Come on, someone will know this in the comment section. He always. Oh God, Connor Hourahan.
Connor Hourahan. Yeah, he's
Hourahan is a cup of my tea. There you go. Yeah, thank you. I'm pleased that you've all got more football knowledge.
Hourahan. Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah. Duncan's clearly on the Lakens. He's going for Danny Ings. Bring him.
Dan Bardell.
Is Dan?
Dan.
Connor.
Dan, I've heard vicious rumours that you're not replying to Chris Reeves' messages, and we need to get a date in the diary.
No, yeah, he is. Don't throw me in the deep end with the big Dan. Dan, I love you. I'm going to book you in, mate.
Okay, so it's me, James E. Cruel Aaron's, Big Andy in capitals, Gibson, the Emperor, Norman, Gilmore, Count Rashitsa, Jollis, Pookie.
Do you know what I love? Do you know what I really love about that? I love how people are using the nicknames that we put into the room.
Absolutely, the Emperor.
It just fills me with so much joy.
I think Brandon Williams to put an argument in the Brandon Williams camp. I thought he was excellent against Brentford. Really, really good. Yeah, that driving run where Pookie dragged one wide. Oh, I was watching that on loop all evening. Just sat back, just sipping a Laker, just watching it on continuous loop and going, God, that gets me going.
Yeah, and I can't believe you've just used that. Brandon turned for the better. I think Brandon's made a few individual errors this season. I think he'll know that. I don't need to say that. And so I was so chuffed with his performance against Brentford. I really was. But I am leaning a little bit into the Giannoulis camp, and I know that it's a squad game. I get that, but I do feel a bit bad for Giannoulis because the guy's absolutely class. And being kept out of the side by a lone player, I'm not really sure. What are you giggling at?
Just when you said about the Giannoulis camp, I recalled a podcast memory when we talked about pitching up in a camp.
Right. A bit of an in-joke there, mate, but it's fine. You can share that with everyone anyway, can't you? Are we literally waiting until 7 o'clock, by the way?
Yes, we are.
I don't know if this is actually legitimate information or not, but if it is, Jack, then do update all of our things.
Well, meanwhile, to fill a couple of minutes, Milo Rashica is starting for Kosovo against Greece, and Giannoulis and Jollis are on the bench. And Daniel Sinani starts for Luxembourg against Ireland.
Should we just an idea? Should we actually just get Dan Bardell in?
No, let's save him for the big one.
We want a big one for Dan.
We don't want to waste him on this pesky podcast.
Yeah, I agree. Is this true, by the way? Oh no, not that one. Sorry.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it is true.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Big Duda, yeah.
One of the worst signings we've ever made.
Scored for us, didn't he?
No,
he didn't. Had a good shot against someone, I remember.
I'm not even sure he ran.
Didn't he hit the crossbar against someone?
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
That reminds me of Bamford. Do you remember when he hit the crossbar against Man City and everyone was
just losing it?
I'm going to stop.
I'm really hoping that Dean Smith isn't announced at 7 because I really need to go to the loo.
It's like watch-alongs all over. That's it.
Well, the Pinken have just tweeted the wait looks to be almost over for Norwich City fans, with Dean Smith expected to be confirmed as Norwich City head coach. Now, when that is, I don't know.
Oh, it's going to happen any minute. We'll keep this going a little bit longer then. Jack, why don't you take the plunge and pop to the toilet then?
Oh, okay. You're relieving me of duties.
I'll just read some comments. You bugger off for a bit, and I'll read through some of our amazing comments that we've got in here. Oh, that's fine. Just leave your screen on. No worries at all. Always the same people. Look, I can't control Jack Reed's bladder. It's always been the same. There's nothing I can do about it at all. Let's go through some of these. By the way, everyone's saying dude has been announced. Hello, has it? Have the club tweeted it? That's the sign. Are you ahead of the game? Here we go. No, it's not. You're all being sods and trying to throw me off the beaten track. Dave Winter, has Brandon been in the soccer bot? Maybe Dave. Wouldn't surprise me if Brandon's been in the soccer bot. Although I don't think the soccer bot does tackles. It's very much agility and passing. But look, as I've said multiple occasions, I'm all for the soccer bot. I really, really am.
Has it happened yet?
No, but there are people trying to play tricks on us saying that it's been announced.
Can't see it.
Alex Innit says, "Hi Chris, how's it going?" Alex, thank you for asking. It's going well, thank you. We're 5 points adrift in the Premier League. We've only won one game all season.
And by the way,
we're managerless.
Look how cool Alex looks. Just get Alex back on screen for a minute.
Profile picture of the night.
What a bloke.
Profile picture of the night. Anyone that wears their AirPods in their profile picture, listens to good music. And by the way, Jack, on that note, what sort of vibe do you think he's listening to?
Alex Innit is listening to Tiny Temper. I can feel it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I do see him as a bit of a Burner Boy type, actually. I think I think he could be up for a bit of
Burner Boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I should really stop doing that.
I knew that Duda had a good moment. Jamie Bowman, thank you so much. He had his shot saved by Steve Cook. Remember that game in the Premier League, Chris? Bournemouth, and it was going in, and Steve Cook handballed it on the line, and then we scored the penalty. Remember that?
I don't. I tried to erase Duda from my memory.
Right. It's not happening at 7, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, that's
another reason to stop believing the supposed in the know accounts that know absolutely nothing about our football club.
There we go. Right, let's conclude, Chris. What's your parting message?
My parting message is Dean Smith, seemingly unfashionable, but he's the perfect man at the perfect time for this football club. A man that has been disregarded by his club. A man that still bears the cuts from his sacking at Villa, from his loss against Southampton. A man that, quite frankly, will turn into an animal, a werewolf, come next Saturday, because he is going to be wanting to prove a point. And we've said it all along, Jack. These November games are so important for our season. So important. And I know there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes. And I know I've got my yellow and green glasses on here. But you win against Southampton, and all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, we're off to the party here. We're actually then really, really in the room. And then we go into that Newcastle game away, and we could put a whole lot of blooming pressure on Newcastle.
Hello.
And imagine how good that's going to feel. And imagine how pumped Dino's going to be in the changing room at Newcastle, at St James's, absolutely pounding his chest as the boys get out there onto the pitch to prove a point against Newcastle. You know, the narrative, everyone wants to assume, to think, to push us back down to the Championship. But I think it's the perfect storm, Jack. And I am encouraging Norwich fans watching this now, especially those at Carrow Road, get behind Dino and the boys. And the boys, by the way, this isn't just the Dean Smith show. This is about these Norwich City players. We're going to have players in now that haven't had a lot of game time under Daniel Farke. So that means they're probably going to be a little bit rusty. But we're going to see some spark again. It's going to be really exciting. And let's raise the roof at Carrow Road on Saturday. And let's really make sure that we've done our bit as supporters to ensure that this team have got a fighting chance of surviving the Premier League. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I am definitely saying it's possible.
I love it. Final super chat. The truth sets free. These two geezers missed my super chat. Well, we got this one. The truth sets free. So my final parting message, and I've just thought about this. Chris, you know the trainers, sneakers, the brand sneakers?
Yeah, go on.
Dean Smith is the managerial equivalent of sneakers. Not the most fashionable, and not everyone gets them early on in life. But at some point during life, you will purchase a pair of sneakers for comfortable, for ease of use, for versatility. And they are in with life for the long run. Sneakers are for life, not just for Christmas. Right? Dean Smith. I'm not saying he'll take us to the Europa League this season. But at some point in our supporting lifetime, Dean Smith will bring goodness to Norwich City.
Totally agreed. There have been some comments, and I think they're right. Matthew says sketches.
Yes, sketches.
And I think he's right. Matthew. Oh dear, welcome to Talk.
At least people knew what I meant.
All I'm going to say is, and I'm going to say, Merry Smithmas for tomorrow, Yellows. Merry Smithmas. Big Dino's coming to town.
Sketches.
Dino.
Oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. Is Hazza having us on here?
What's going on?
Is Hazza having us on?
I think he's having us on. He's having us on, mate.
Yeah,
it's not official.
Anyway, go and buy yourself a pair of Skechers, everyone.
Sorry,
sneakers. What am I doing? Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next week with loads more content, hopefully surrounding the future of Norwich City and Dean Smith.
Dino.
Chris, good to see you. See you later, mate.
Dino.